personality. I don't know if that makes up for any of it, but like, like
Yeah, I mean, like that's always the thing that I'm talking about physically. Like she's not a 10 otherwise outside of that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
it's
yeah,
just that. That's it.
yeah. And then Sean asked why Tim and Jennifer never had sex, and then they beat the dead Jennifer and Tim didn't have sex, dead horse a couple more times.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't sick of it. And then the relationship expert Stephanie suggests that Tim is jealous. And
See,
once again, I'm like, girl, shut up. Just shut up.
she was doing so good up
Yeah.
until this point.
Not really, though.
Well, I mean,
She let out a couple of good burns, and that was about it. The rest of it, I was like, just shut up.
yeah.
That's why I get with her. She gets on my nerves. Like she if you notice, she has successfully interjected on every single thing that happened.
Yeah.
Like this ain't about you. Shut your face, girl.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And Tim says he doesn't get jealous for fake. And then Jesse pipes up about like, well, this isn't fake. This is real. We're in Mexico and Spain, and I have a house in Russia and a house in Amsterdam and a house in Cleveland, right? And he said all this, and all of a sudden Natalie's like, I don't believe him. She is. Sometimes she pops out of her own little Natalie world at the perfect time.
Mm-hmm.
And says something funny, because a lot of people were sitting there thinking, it's like, I don't believe him. I was like, yeah, Natalie, me neither.
Nobody does.
Yeah, she believes Jennifer loves him, but he really don't think like Jesse like loves her. He's all about his money. And then slowly you start to, it's like when you ask the question, like, come on, who's going with me, right? And then all of a sudden you slowly start to see hands go up. And then you see like Tanya's hand go up. And then you see Debbie's hand go up. And it's like, yep, see? They shouldn't be together. We don't believe them either. It started a movement.
And then it's funny, dude, it's funny because like Natalie doesn't like, she, like you said, like she's like most of the time she lives in her own world. And for her to come out and be like, yeah, I don't see what you see, bro. It's kind of like, wow. What kind of
sometimes she hops out of Natalie world at the perfect time.
Yeah. What kind of level of delusion are you if Natalie is seeing this?
Yeah. But Jesse just swears up and down that they are completely in love with each other and this shit is real.
Nobody questioned that, Jesse.
Yeah. And then like after hearing so much of the doubt, Jennifer says she's still gonna just sleep with him every night like she always does. Fuck the haters. All right.
Cool.
Then we say goodbye to Tim and Veronica, which was fine. I'm sick of that whole scenario already. Tim was on here for a few minutes on the tell-all, and I was like, all right, I had enough of you too, Tim. Yeah. I don't know. It's nothing against him. It was just like, I think I'm sick of that whole story. The whole, okay, they didn't have sex. It was peppered throughout this whole season, and this season wasn't even about him.
Yeah. That is true.
And then they had the break, and we find out that Ed looks repulsive eating a Rice Krispie treat. I've never wanted to punch somebody so much for eating as I did him. But we find out that Debbie was a private investigator for 2 years.
But how did we find out about that?
All right, here's how we found out about it. Because Stephanie comes in and she starts asking about the weird jobs you had, because she had some shit she obviously wanted to share.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so she asked, and then Debbie was like, I was a private investigator. I love her laugh, by the way. But then there was that. And then she said that she was a stripper in her early 20s. Don't nobody care.
Stephanie said that, not Debbie.
Yeah, Stephanie said that. She said she was a stripper in her early 20s. Nobody cares.
Nobody cared.
Nobody gives a shit at all, except Ed. Ed's like, wait a minute, stop the bus and stop the damn bus. And he's like, you were a stripper. It's like, you never brought my change back. Chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. Like, come on, man.
As he waddles away.
Yeah.
Get another Rice Krispie, whatever it was.
That's what happens. And then so near the end of the break, Tanya's getting her hair did, right? She's talking with her mom, Missy. Missy came to hang out today. And she's like, Mom, people are saying me and Sinjin should get back together.
Not just people, EJ. The only person that she actually just mentioned the one person that believes that they should get back together, and that person was Natalie.
It
And
was Natalie, honestly.
I was like, dude, if Natalie's telling you to do something, like you shouldn't do it. This
Yeah, it's
woman
probably not a
wanted
good look.
she wanted to free the rats at a pet store. All right, that's the kind of person that you're taking advice from. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just leave Sinjin alone. Y'all ain't the same. Y'all ain't on the same level.
Nah, not at all, dude.
And she asked Missy what she thinks, and it's really because she I think she really does want to get back with him.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the whole Sinjin is just like how do I explain it? The gap that I talk about, like the gap is too big, and she knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he don't give a fuck about nothing.
No, he doesn't. He really doesn't.
Yeah. And and then Missy was like, no. And then Tanya was like, yeah, that's what I said. Basically saying, damn, that's not what I wanted to hear, but you're right.
Yeah.
Cause she keeps like leaving the window open for that bird to fly in and tell her to get back with Sinjin. And it's not happening.
And like, dude, she was willing to listen to Natalie.
She was. Natalie of all people. If that crazy woman said anything, I was like, nope, that's wrong.
Only because she told her what she wanted to hear. Other than that, she would have been like, I'm sorry, but nobody's talking to you, miss.
I think they're gonna have an on again, off again sexual relationship.
Sinjin and Tanya?
Yeah. Yeah. They're gonna be the ones like we still love each other. I mean, we're in the same place. We might as well have sex.
True.
It'll be one of them.
Right. It could happen. I can see it happening.
Yeah. And Missy asked her how she feels after seeing them, and she says she bounces between feeling sad and feeling like they just don't match.
Well, they don't.
And the whole time you can see Mama sitting there like almost bouncing, like she's about to go out and do a prize fight. It's like, I can't wait to go out here and test Sinjin a new asshole. You see, and she I really like how civil they are for like obviously not liking each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Sinjin and Missy. Yeah. Because they don't. Like Missy don't like Sinjin, Sinjin don't like Missy, but they're very civil.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. And then they pick back up with Sinjin and Tanya, and Sean invites Missy out on stage. And she says the problem she saw the most with the two of them was that Tanya was goal-oriented and Sinjin don't give a fuck about nothing.
Yeah. Likes to work hard, party hard. And Sinjin likes to party hard.
Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
And Sinjin says he's such a free spirit, and Missy was like, look, that might be good for somebody else, but not my baby.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she don't need a free spirit. She need somebody with some goals.
That's right.
And then Sean asked Missy what she thought of them breaking up, but then still living together and being intimate. And then there's this big like silence that hushes over the crowd. It's like, Mom, did you know that? She's like, yeah, I knew. Yeah. And she's like, look, I don't judge my daughter, right? Mm-hmm. And if her mother doesn't judge her, fuck the rest of the world. So shout out to her. That was some really stand up mom shit to say.
Hell yeah, Rohana.
What up, Delilah? Delilah said hi, y'all.
She's saying hello, good morning.
Yeah, and both Tanya and Missy say they're not worried about being financially responsible for Sinjin. Did you catch that? Because the only way they would be is if Sinjin sought out government assistance, and he is way too dumb and lazy to do any of that.
And I'm glad. I'm glad that he is way too lazy and dumb to do that, because otherwise he remember, they co-signed for him, okay? And by the way, Delilah, yes, we're on top of it. We're trying to get this like out of the way as soon as we can. All right, watch this episode. This episode was great.
All right, so look, keep watching, but if you don't want spoilers, maybe mute it or something. We'll blow you kisses or something every now and then. We got you. All right, but yeah.
But because here's the thing, EJ, they co-signed for Sinjin to come here, and it's kind of like when you lease a car or buy a car and you don't have enough credit, so you get a co-signer and they co-sign for you, and then you can't pay the car anymore. So what does the dealership do? They take the car away. But let's just say that this car doesn't get taken away; it just goes off on his own, right? It's just a fucking free car running around the wood with Natalie, right? It's just a free. Is just a free car that does whatever the fuck it wants, and then the government is like, well, I mean, I'm not sorry, the government, the dealership is like, well, somebody's got to take care of it. So if the car comes back to us and asks us for gas for it to run, we're gonna have to give it gas because we can't leave a car without gas, and we gotta fix its brakes, and we gotta fix this, and we gotta fix that, and guess what? We'll pay for all of it. But since you two co-signed, we're gonna turn around and be like, by the way, here's the bill for everything that car used.
Pretty much.
So that's why they're like worried but not worried at the same time that Sinjin might get some help from the government, like food stamps or unemployment or anything, because that would definitely fuck them over, because now they have to pay for something that they're not even using.
Touche. You didn't have to say it like that. He's a person.
Well, come on.
I know what you meant. It was a metaphor. I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bum you out. He's like, no, that's not what I was saying.
That's not what I
mean. I got you, man. I got you. But then Sean digs a little bit deeper with the interview. She asked if Sinjin has hit either of them up for money.
Oh shit!
And we find out that he accepted $2,000 from Tanya to cover his rent, which was due the following day. And on that next day, Tanya sees him catching a flight to California.
And his stories, yeah.
Yeah, catching a flight to California. And you know why he was going to California? It was for a very valid reason. You know that, right?
I mean, I don't know what the reason is, so I can't really say if it's valid or not. But
I'm going to tell you what the reason is. Here's the reason why he went to California the same day that his rent was due. He was heading to have some fun at the beach. That's it. He was heading to have some fun at the beach. That's it.
Okay, yeah, that is a valid reason. Yes,
that's valid. Yeah, and he won't mention who he was going to meet up with.
Yeah.
Which, once again, why don't you just at that point just say it like a chick?
Yeah.
Because if you don't answer, that's what that means. And Tanya caught him on it right away. Like, look, if you was going with one of your dudes, you would have said that. So we know what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Why
lie?
Tim, huh? It's the same thing with Tim when they asked him, dude, did you admire Jesse, and did you say that he was hot? Ugh, what? What? No. Who said that? That's so crazy. It's like, dude, obviously you did. Like, it's okay. You said it. It's fine. Just admit to it. You know, like, What are you so afraid of looking dumb? You look dumber when you say, well, no.
And then he tried to explain how he was able to do that. He was like, I already had money set aside for that. It's like, well, pay your rent with it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, it got to a point with Sinjin. I'm like, look, I like you, dude. Just stop talking. Just nod your head. I mean, and I guess he figured it out part of the way through because he was just like, I get it. Yeah, I suck. He just rolled with it.
I love how he was like, yeah, I use our money to pay rent to go to California. It was a big deal. I'm like, well, the fact that you fucking used her money to go to California.
Oh, yeah, Sinjin, I forgot to give you this. Here.
Like, you know, and the funny thing here is that Ed and Stephanie are looking at him, are looking at Sinjin like, wow, we're pieces of shit, and we know that. At least we are pieces of shit on our dime. Like, you know, like we are way different, Sinjin. Sinjin is just like, I'll take, but doesn't give anything back. And it's like, how are you going to be a piece of shit and not even pay for it? That's crazy, dude.
I don't know. And then like Debbie starts standing up for us, like, you're gonna need to apologize to her. And he says, girl, I've already apologized a bunch of times and everything's cool already. And then Tanya reminds him, no, it ain't. Yeah. And then you get the typical Sinjin and Tanya argument where, you know, Sinjin's losing because he actually was in the wrong. So they just say, we got to do this, bro. You know, that's That's what he says when he doesn't have anything else to say.
Dude's an idiot, man. I used to like Sinjin. I thought he was like cool on the show, but like now I'm like, dude, this guy's a fucking. This guy sucks.
Sinjin is entertaining.
He sucks.
Like, I mean, he's never gonna rule the world or anything, but he's entertaining.
Like when he said that he apologized. He's like, yeah, I told you I was vulnerable, and she's like, yeah, that's not an apology. He's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, well I didn't apologize then. Sorry about that.
Well sorry. And she was like, all right, what do I do with this? Because sorry doesn't equal $2,000. So how about you fucking save some of those TLC checks, Sinjin, and then pay Tanya back?
I think he's trying though, because then after all of this came out, then Debbie tells him again, like, motherfucker, apologize. He's like, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, dude, like that doesn't mean that you paid her back. Because after that, Tanya made this face like, okay, well, what do I do with this fucking sorry? I can't take it to the bank. So what do you want me to do with it? You know what? Like, True. It's a point in time that like sorry means absolute nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
And
like,
then, just
by the way,
thought,
EJ, just so you know, yesterday I called my ex-girlfriend from 6 years ago, and I asked her if she had some money around because I want to go to Virginia Beach. So,
okay,
I told her rent is due, and she's gonna send some money. Hopefully,
boom, there it is.
My ex-girlfriend from 6 years ago.
You deserve one of those. You and Sinjin have life figured out. That is the meaning of life, right there.
That's it. Just hit up.
Yeah, man.
Money. That's all.
And then they decide to flash back to more of Sinjin's fuckery, where he went on his first date in Arizona.
Do you like how they picked that scene specifically because it talks about children?
Oh, of course. Like that's how you strike the nerve with Tanya, because Tanya wants kids.
Oh, it was beautiful.
You know what I mean? That's how you strike the nerve. And then all of a sudden, like, he's sitting there and he's on his date and he's like, well, what do you want to happen for a relationship, mate? Right? And she says that she wants to definitely have kids within 5 years and have a family and all of that. And, you know, and then Tanya has to sit there and watch him where he kind of like backed down on his I never want kids stance that he's been giving Tanya.
Yeah.
Like that was some that was like what do we call that? Like when you throw the grenade in the room and shut the door.
Yeah,
that clip. Yeah. Like throw that right in between Tanya and Sinjin where he's like, not right now.
I agree.
Man.
Fucking Sinjin, man.
Yeah. And Tanya looks at it and is like, oh, she's gorgeous. You said she wasn't that good looking. So now if homegirl sees this, she just fucked the game up for her too. It's like, I'm not that good looking, huh? Fuck you, Sinjin.
Tanya threw in her own grenade in the room.
Oh yeah. They knew what they was doing. And you know what? And once again, and look, this is the dope part. Tanya doesn't look like an asshole. Look, she's gorgeous. Okay. Mm-hmm. You said she was ugly. Oh, women ain't shit sometimes. That was a good one. I saw what she was doing there.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. And then Tanya says, you know, like, I do think it's pretty quick for him to be dating again, but it is what it is. And I think he needs to focus on getting himself together because he is a hot mess.
Yeah.
It's essentially what she said. He is a hot mess.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Then Sean asked Tanya if she's been dating. Mm-hmm. And you could see, you could hear Sinjin's butthole pucker up a little bit, mm-hmm. because for whatever reason, whenever she does, it's definitely going to bother him because nobody has like loved him like that yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So whenever this next dude comes along, that dude's going to be a problem for Sinjin, regardless of what he might say.
I think he's just gonna continue. He's gonna become a Jesse, but not a like the rich version of Jesse. He's gonna become like the bum version of Jesse, the guy that just kind of like comes around whenever he needs some cash, and the producers are gonna be like, "Hey, can you go stir up some shit with Tanya? Like hit her up or something." And
no, I'm gonna be Zen. We're gonna use some Sinj energy. It's gonna be great. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, It's just gonna be a whole shit show for sure, dude. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good at all. But
Oh
that's
God.
who he wants to be in this universe, in the 90DF universe. Hey, go for it. Be who you
Yeah.
wanna be.
And she said that she did go on a date,
Hmm.
but there was no spark. And Sean saw what I saw. You see, when she's like, maybe she isn't seeing any of the sparks because she's still caught up in what Sinjin is doing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he hasn't moved on yet. Yeah,
Yeah, like you got your dinner right in front of you and you looking at somebody else's plate.
it's not good. Not
Yeah,
good.
so yeah, you're gonna miss some things. You probably won't see those sparks.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So then they say goodbye to Missy
Oh,
and they move their attention to your girl.
yes. I actually can't wait to talk about this one, dude, because this one is such a trigger for me. It is. This woman is
I'm gonna let you
absolutely
do it.
insane.
Then I'm gonna let you do it. I will not stop you. Do your thing.
Here it is. Okay. They asked Natalie. Natalie has Florida, and she's like, "I'm happy. I feel good. I don't miss Squim." And they're like, "Yeah, girl, you go. You don't miss Squim." She's like, "Honestly, I don't miss anything." They're like, "Yeah." She's like, "Come on, keep it coming for me. Come on, on, yeah."
Worship me. Worship me. I'm gonna go dishonestly.
She's a goddess, honestly. And she's like, "I am happy. I feel good. I don't miss Squim." And by the way, Mike is dating. And they're like, "Oh, how do you know?" And she's like, "I found out through friends." And everybody's like, "Oh no, poor Natalie." And she's like, "Yes, I know." And you know why? And they're like, "Why?" Because he's got game. And they're like, "Well, where does he get all this game from?" And she's like, "Well, I think it's because he's a Scorpio." And
Shout out to bro.
and
Look at this. I'm a Scorpio. You can't even. Yeah, I'm a Scorpio. I got that when I was a kid, but yeah, I'm a Scorpio.
well, EJ, that's what I was about to ask you. Do Scorpios have a lot of game?
Yes.
So okay, so Mike
Yes.
definitely has a lot of game.
Yes.
It's okay. It's been
Yeah.
we verified the
Mhm.
this answer is 100% truth, and yeah, we're like mythbusters.
So, yeah, sometimes too much for our own good. We'll say that, right?
So EJ, let me tell you about this other woman that Natalie stayed. I mean that Mike is seeing. She is beautiful, and she and Natalie's like, well, good for him. You know, she's beautiful. I liked it. I like her. I like them together. And then Sean is like, you know what? Why don't we why don't we start stirring shit up? Let's bring out Mike, right? Let's bring out Mike. Mike, come on. And Mike comes out on the screen and he's like, what's up? And his dress shirt, I was like, man,
That shirt, you seen them buttons? Those buttons was holding on to each other like they was about to fall off a cliff. I was like, bro, get a bigger shirt.
Yeah, I was like, dude, come on, like just
you can see belly meat in between every button. Like, come on, man. They make a bigger shirt than that. I'm sure.
Listen, Mike, I'm not judging. I feel the same way. I look the same way in a dress shirt. That's why I wear shirts only. All right, because they're a little stretchy. They got a little more room. I'm just saying, like, don't do that again.
Yeah.
So, Natalie's like, so happy to see you. You look good, and everybody's like, cool. Yeah. Then Mike makes a couple of jokes. Everybody's laughing, and Natalie's literally looking at everybody like, don't laugh at him. He's the devil. He's evil. Don't laugh at him. Did you see how upset she got when she was?
Oh, because like what was happening is like he was getting laughs at her expense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when she was like, "Oh, very nice to see you," and he was like, "It's nice to see that you're still alive." Right? You know what I mean? Which means I honestly could give a shit less about you. I just don't want you to die. You know what I mean? That's where he was with it, and I felt Mike's attitude the whole way. I was like, yeah.
No, dude, Mike is a saint. I don't care what anybody says.
Dude.
Mike is a saint. So they ask him, how are things going? He goes, good. You know, I work in Seattle and it's always a 2-3 hour commute. So this little place opened up near where I work. So I just moved to Seattle. And at that point, Natalie is like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I wanted you to move to Seattle with me. Like, why didn't we move to Seattle? You wait for me to leave? And he's like, listen, something came up. I had the money, everything lined up correctly, so I just took it. All right.
And you were impatient. Had you stuck around, you probably would have been in Seattle right now.
Yeah. And she's like, well, Mike, is just that I always said this and I always said that, and you always were at work, and I was always alone. And most of the time it was just Natalie and the wood. You know?
Natalie and the wood.
Natalie in the wood. And I was like, I get it. I get it. You know, she could get lonely, especially because she's new to the country. She doesn't know anybody. They are in the middle of nowhere where she was. So
Mhm.
I can see why she would get lonely. Then she
Yeah,
was
she
like,
got
"All right,
lonely. She
yeah,
she she gained 20 pounds because of her carrot cake addiction.
of course, which is bound to happen. When you got nothing to do, you want to eat, you want to have a snack or two or five, it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
And then Jesse is like, I don't know, he said something stupid like, "Oh, I saw that and I felt really bad for you. Very, very lonely." And it was something dumb, but
I
it
was
was,
like, shut the fuck up, Jesse.
yeah, but it was
I'm
just
sure.
enough. It was just enough to trigger Natalie's crazy. So that's
Dude,
when she was
do
off.
you realize like that's probably the sentiment most of these people had except for Jennifer? This whole tell all like these past 2 weeks was shut the fuck up, Jesse. Just shut up.
He's the worst. He's absolutely the worst.
Yeah, I think his commentary was worse than everybody's.
Yeah, he's just a douche.
Like
That's
even Natalie has something like pretty bright to say at some point.
Mhm.
Jesse, not so much.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of big words that don't make any fucking sense
And then
to
just like
try
a
to make
little,
himself look
and then
smart.
just a little sip of the smoothie.
Yeah, all that part.
Like, oh, you are a douche.
Yeah,
Total
it's
douche.
like, and she will say whatever the fuck she wants, and then he sips back and sips his fucking kale smoothie. Like, come on, man.
What a clown.
Yeah,
So Sean asked him, Mike, are you dating? And he's like, no. And everybody's like, well, what about that lady on your Facebook? Yeah. What about that lady on your Facebook, Mike? She's beautiful. And he's like, she's just a friend. I met up with her, we hung out, and that was really it.
yeah. I don't know what y'all want me to tell y'all. Like, he wasn't here for no bullshit. This, like, he wasn't
No,
getting mad. It
that's why
was so
this dude
dope.
is good, because he's not giving them the reaction they want. So they're like, no, dude, react the way we want. And he's like, no, because it didn't happen like that. And they're like, yeah, but she's crazy and you hate her. He's like, no, honestly, like she fucking left me. There's nothing I can do. Like, she
Yeah,
wants to
fuck
go,
it.
she can go. That's
Yeah.
it. That was his attitude. But before I even continue with more EJ, I just want to remind everybody that is watching now or in the future that Patreon is only $1 only, and you can find it in the link in the description below. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram at I want my podcast _studios. And if you think we're doing a good job recapping all of this podcast on the audio, on the videos, and just doing all the work that we're doing, and you want to send us a little extra cash or a little tip, you can do that. You can do so at our Venmo, which is at Miguel Perez Comedy, and at Mr. EJ Edmonds. That is MREJ Edmonds.
And also, real quick, I want y'all to do me a favor, okay? I want y'all to go on and actually review the podcast, okay? Just go and leave dope. Be like, all right, they suck. I don't care. Just leave something. Because what happens
5
is
stars.
when we're trying to get more ears on us, which is what we're trying to do. We're trying to reach out. We're trying to have this conversation, these hangouts like we have with you, with as many people as possible. So review the podcast, tell them what you think so somebody else can see your review and maybe think, all right, maybe I should fuck with these dudes too, because they are dope. Right?
Nope.
Yeah.
So yeah, give us a 5-star review on Spotify, 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And one last thing that I forgot to mention about Patreon, we have over 300 episodes uploaded there. We have a gigantic library that you can like check out. You can go from like episode 1 all the way to now. On the feed, we only have 10 podcasts available. So if you want to check out like last week's or the weeks before, make sure you join Patreon. It's only $1, and you'll have access to all of that great content, because believe me, it's great content, honestly. So
great content, honestly.
honestly,
Hey, when are we giving a big announcement about what we're doing after this one?
I mean, we're gonna be doing our predictions after this. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the show we're going to be doing after this one's done.
Oh yeah.
We didn't talk about that yet.
Yeah, we're gonna be covering a brand new show since A Single Life is over, and we're very excited to talk about it. Each, actually, you want to drop it? You want to mention which show it is?
All right, so we were sitting there. We had we listened to the comments you guys sent in about what show we should do, and we went back and forth for a little bit. And so we have decided that that once Single Life is over, which is like as soon as we hit stop on this one, we're on to the next show, which is going to be Love is Blind.
Love is Blind, exactly.
Love is Blind. We're going to be doing Love is Blind after this. And what we're doing with this one, we'll just go ahead and put it out there. This is going to be Patreon only. Am I right in saying that it's going to be Patreon only? Just because this is what the marketers tell us we need to do to get this stuff out here. So hey, it's a fucking dollar, you cheap asses. Okay. Like if you got a problem with that, you need to look yourself in the mirror and be like, why can't I give these dudes $1 for this dopeness that they're putting out? Okay. You need to take a look in the mirror. All right. But yeah, that's happening. We're going to be doing that. Super excited about that.
Hell yeah.
Let me go ahead and give a horn for this. And can I go ahead and put something up here real quick? Let me go ahead and
sure.
Delilah said it herself, people. What we waiting on?
Worth it.
Delilah, she's a trustworthy, she's a good gal, right? That's what she says. It's worth it. So make sure y'all check that out.
Yes. So for everybody watching right now or in the future, we thank you so much. And for everybody listening, we're going to continue with my rants about Crazy Natalie. Are you ready to continue this, EJ?
Let go.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, and we'll see you soon.